and good evening. Uh, Hope you all are doing well. I'm just getting notifications sent out. But, anywho, hopefully you guys are doing well and enjoying a nice Saturday afternoon. Mainly just wanted to come on here and share with you guys that we got some new ducklings. So, they are pretty precious. So we have four ducks as it is right now. We have two mallards and two Welsh harlequins, and they're awesome. And come to find out, they're really useful for a garden. So we decided that we wanted to get more ducks. They're great for eating bugs, eating weeds, and a ton of other stuff in your garden. And so we were looking at different breeds of ducks to get, and we um, decided on a runner ducks, and that's because they're really good ducks. They are very good, like pack ducks. Like they hang out together, um, and they're really good at eating bugs and weeds and stuff like that in the garden. Because we'd love to be able to just open up our garden area for our ducks and our chickens too, because they all live together. And if we did that, the ducks would be able to go in and eat bugs and kind of help till up the garden because they're scratching. So, hey, Hendrickson Family Farm, welcome. Hopefully, you guys are doing well out there. So, um, anywho, yep, got distracted. Sorry. So, we ordered 10 ducks from Murray and McMurray Hatchery online. We actually ordered nine female ducks and one male duck, so that hopefully we can try and hatch runner ducks, because that's the breed. And then we were ended up at the feed store on yesterday. Because we wanted to get more chicks. So we ended up getting 10 buff Orpington chicks. They're in here. We'll show you in a second. And then we got 4 of these runner ducks that they also had there. They had geese too, but we didn't want to get another goose. Clarence would get too distracted with a female goose. So, but seriously, he would. That's if you want a good guard goose, you only have one of them. If you have a male female pairing, they're not going to do great. So, Hendrickson doing great. Hopefully, your family are doing well. Yes, they are. Thankfully, I appreciate it, and hopefully, you guys are doing well also. Um, so, anywho, we got these guys because they were there, and so we figure the ducks we will probably they're only 2 weeks apart from the ones we're getting in the mail in a couple weeks, so we'll see the size difference when we get them, but we'll probably end up putting them together with the ducks together, and then we'll have our chicks in a separate box out here in the garage. And basically, at that point, they'll be in here for a month or two, and then we'll take them outside. So we have our like teenage chicks, is what we've been calling them. They're a couple months old, 2 to 3 months old. They're outside. They're all fully feathered, just small. They're actually doing really well. So they are hanging out, and they actually sneak into the main chicken area as well. So they're probably ready to just go in with the chicks, but there's no reason to move them quite yet. So anywho, these wanted to talk to you about runner ducks. If you guys have any questions, comments, Hendrickson, if you guys I can't remember. Do you guys have ducks on your farm? I can't remember, to be honest. Or is it just chicks? So, um, this breed, it didn't necessarily come from India, but that's where they bred these, and it was they thought because that's where they were going on the ship, basically. And so they're not from India or anything like that, but they're bred because, and if you look them up and Google them, they're called runner ducks because they stand up straighter basically than a normal duck. A normal duck will be more horizontal against the ground, whereas an Indian runner duck will stand almost like straight up. And because of that, they can actually run like pretty fast for a duck. It's pretty incredible. So, holy cow, little one. So they actually run really, really fast. So they're a lot of fun to have, and they do really well in gardens. And They also tend, the Indian runner ducks, to hang out like as a pack. They'll actually just a little bit. They actually will hang out together like as ducks, and they'll like run around the yard together so that if one leaves, the others. So just chickens for you guys. Yeah, you should get ducks. They are great for farms. They're great for bugs, and especially if your garden area is right next um, to where your chicken area is. And you can. I'm sure this is one of those hot button topics, but we keep our ducks and our goose and our chickens all together, and that's where these are all going to go together with the chickens. Um, and they do really well. The ducks can hang out themselves, honestly, on the floor of the coop at night, and the chickens go up on the roosts. But they're so much fun to have. The ducks are great. They all hang out together in a pack with their goose. And the duck eggs are awesome. They're huge compared to a chicken egg, and they're really good. So um, the only the only thing that I would mention about ducks, there's a couple of considerations that you guys might want to look at, and anyone else for that matter who's watching this who is thinking about getting ducks is, and that's mainly when you're raising them with and actually when they're adults too, is the watering situation. So with the normal chicks, right, you can just get the little nipple waters that they can peck at, right, and get water out. Well, their beak doesn't really work that way. They won't be able to peck at it and get water into their bill. And also, ducks will use the water. They kind of like swish it around in their beaks, so in the bills, and they like clean out their bills because usually they'll get food particles and dust and stuff in there, and they need to clean it out. And that's the way they do it, is through the water. And so they need to be able to dip their bill completely into that water and like swish it around. That's why they make a mess with their water. Ducks do, and geese for that matter. Um, so that's really a consideration. So instead of just having like a nipple water when we're raising ducks, or at least ducks and chicks, we'll have more of a water trough type thing, or we have these. Oh, these guys here, I just made this with BBC, but these waters, so they can dip their bills in and get water, and that's really their whole life. So, and we have like a goat water that we use for our chickens and ducks, so that's how they drink. As far as feed, Hendrickson, it's a hot button topic as well. So you'll find some people that are very like, no, you should not give them chicken feed. Really, really, what you're concerned about is niacin with ducks and geese both. And so you can give them um, chicken feed, and that's what we do. When they're older, they just have like a layered crumble feed from our chickens, and when they're younger, they eat the same chick starter mash, the ground up chick feed. But with ducks, they need niacin, and so you can get like a bag of brewer's yeast off Amazon. It's like 10 or 15 bucks, and it'll last you forever, because all that you'll end up doing is for every, like feeder that you fill up of duck food, so it's probably, I don't know, like a gallon's worth of food. You're going to put in like 1 teaspoon of brewer's yeast, and that'll add a bunch of niacin to the feed, and that really helps with their growth. And I forget what it does in the duck's body and the geese too, but that's really what they need, is that niacin, and that'll help them grow and grow properly. If they don't get that niacin from their feed, it can cause issues with bone development, with feather development, all that kind of stuff. But that's what we've done. We just add a little brewer's yeast, and to be honest, we're not the best at remembering it, and we still haven't had any issues. So it's totally doable to have them both together. And if we had to have them separate, we wouldn't be able to do it. It's just, it would be way too much work. So thankfully they hang out together, and um, they they like hanging out together. They don't even know the difference, in the little brooder here that we got them in. So when they get older and they get outside, you notice, like, especially we have 4 ducks and our goose, they all kind of hang out together almost. Like they're like our goose's like harem kind of. And that's funny to say, but they will like follow our goose around, and our goose is like definitely in charge. He is the like alpha male of the chicken area. So um yeah, they'll run around. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen when we add these 4 guys, and then the 10 more that we get here at the end of the month. But um Yeah. Oh, and the other thing I'll mention is, yeah, that I kind of alluded to earlier, is that they do make a mess. I'm gonna put this guy back in the coop, and I'll grab a chick. But the ducks will make a huge mess. So that's the one big issue, um, and that is because that water thing I was telling you about earlier. Oh man, chicks do not want to be caught. Come on, there we go. Um, is because they're splashing around, around to get water, and to clean out their bills. They splash water everywhere. Um, it's okay, honey. And it's just one of our Buff Orpingtons. So, because of that, they'll get water all over their shavings and stuff in their coop, in their brooder, and so they just make a huge mess. Um, it hasn't been an issue yet. They're still on their first batch of water with electrolytes and probiotics and stuff, but it can be an issue as they grow older and they drink more water and they spray water everywhere. So, what I would suggest is, I don't have it here. I used to. So we use this big chicken wire stuff. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like the 2x4 openings in the chicken wire, and that's what we use for the top of this brooder. But what we'll end up doing is sectioning off like a good foot section end of this brooder, and it's just like plywood, and I covered it in like Flex Seal, basically on the inside, just to provide a barrier so it doesn't rot the wood. But we section off like a foot of it with the 2x4 chicken wire, the hardware cloth, whatever you want to call it, and then on the bottom of that, we actually will use a paint roller tray. And then we have our waterer like above that on like like the wire mesh thing that the paint rollers will have on there. And so that way what happens is the ducks will stick their heads through that 2x4 chicken wire. They'll be able to drink water from the watering thing that's on top of the tray and the paint tray. Uh, and then whenever water gets sprayed, it'll go into that paint tray, and it's just easier to clean out. And so that way, you you don't have to clean out your wood shavings as often as you would without it. Because if you just have your water on top of the shavings, then you're going to end up having to get rid of quite a bit. You're change it out quite a bit. So, um, so this is our. We also got 10 Buff Orpingtons. This is our new like favorite, absolute favorite um, breed of chicken. So where did you get the waterer from to put on the PVC? I got those on Amazon. Let me see. I can find a link for you. Let me find it and I'll put it in the chat for you there, Henderson. Um, they come in like a 5 pack for like 10 or $15, something like that. And then all that I did is they have like a screw-on connection because they're meant to like go into like a bucket, kind of like the nipple waterers. Um, and then all I did is I cut out like, what is this, like 2-inch PVC. I cut a hole in the side of that and then I screwed it on. And just to make sure there was a good seal, I ended up using some like epoxy around it, just to create a good seal. Let's see here. Oh, here, I found it for you. Stand by, it'll come to the chat in just a second. Link, copy link. If I can figure out how to open this on my other phone, we'll see. Oh, yes. There we go. There you go. That is what we used. They were $20. Sorry, 20.97, and there's 5 of them. So basically, it comes with like a black nut. Um, of course, it's being weird. Okay. So it comes with like a black nut, if you can see that. And basically, you don't use the black nut, but there's like a screw. It's plastic, and you just kind of twist that on. And then that works pretty well. The only thing that I'll mention if you do end up getting these is how they basically work is they work based on weight. These are a mess right now, so forgive them. But is that basically I forget which one's which, but if they go down, they stop filling, and and when they're empty, they weigh less. They come up, and they'll fill with water. So depending on where, if the ducks or chicks that you feeding with these can step on them and move around and whatnot, and step on them, step off, you'll get water all over. So you just got to make sure to put it at the right height and just be aware of the level of water. If we made one of these again, because all this is, if I can get some, it is this. And so that way we have a little hole that we like hang it inside the coop. Welcome guys that just joined. We're just talking some waters for ducks and chickens. But we just hang this inside the brooder here, and then I can easily have access to the top and pour water in here. If we did it again, I would probably figure out a way to attach some sort of tank setup to this, just because it'd be easier. As the ducks and the chicks get older, if you're using this guy, they can fill up really fast, or empty really fast, I should say, and you're having to fill it up quite a bit. So I'd probably add some sort of tank or something like that to it, just to make it work easier. Here, and I can show you. Let me move stuff around. Our heat lamp is finicky right now for whatever reason. I'll show you guys our setup basically. Let me get my iPad over here. Stand by. Ignore the garage. It's a mess. I'm working on it. Okay. So let's see here. There we go. So you can kind of see the setup in here. So we have, this is our water that we got. They're like $8, and we got the probiotic and electrolytes. This is like a perfect size for these little ducklings. Their bills fit in there just perfectly, and it's just perfect depth. So that'll work for a while. And then we got this feeder over here. I can't remember if we got this on Amazon or at our local feed store. This holds quite a bit of food. And right now we just got chicken mash in there, and a little niacin for the ducks. The other thing, other than the heat lamp, obviously, which is thankfully working right now, is this heat plate over here. These things are amazing, and they work really well. They're adjustable heights, and they do very well. So you could even keep it tilted if you have like different sized ducks or something like that in there, or poultry or whatever you happen to have on this run. But also it's great because if for some reason your heat lamp goes out, like this heat lamp goes out all the time because it's finicky and we're getting a new one, then the chicks and ducks will stay warm. So it's not super cold out here. These are probably like 2-3 day old chicks and ducklings. So if it were very much colder out here, we'd probably start them inside for a couple of weeks. But thankfully it's not bad right now. I think it's like low 40s at night. So it stays warm enough out here, and we come and check on them routinely, and there's no issues. So let's see if I can capture one. And yes, there's a short, like I said. Gotcha. Jeez, they're fast. Okay, honey, I'm gonna show you to people. Show you up. Here. So here's one of them. Whoa. They get out of your hands really quick and easily. So you can tell just they're kind of longer and more slender than a normal duck. I think we actually ended up getting a khaki Campbell in here in addition to these on accident, but these are awesome ducks. Theoretically, they should all be females, according to the feed store. But sometimes, what's the quote from Jurassic Park? Nature has a way. So we're hoping. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but we only really want one male goose out there. We already have one, but he's pretty tame, and I don't even think he does his business because Clarence is out there. But yeah, these are such a cool breed. We are so excited about them. So they should, with ducks, I should mention they should not go unsupervised in water until they're like fully feathered out and they're outside. So like a month and a half, 2 months old. After about 5 or 6 days old, they can start going inside in warm water. So if you've seen, like you can look up videos of ducklings in a bathtub or in a kitchen sink. Just make sure if it's their first time or they're like a week old, that it's warm water. And it's amazing how they just automatically know how to swim. You'll see them dunking their heads underwater, and we'll actually do a live stream when we put them in the water for the first time. But that'll probably be Friday or Saturday. They're just so funny. They're cute, and they just know what to do. It's amazing what their instincts show. So we're super happy with these guys, and we're looking forward to getting them to grow more and bigger. So the reason why we got more chicks, the ducks we kind of talked about earlier, is we got some big plans for it. Other stuff we're doing here at the farm, and we'll talk more about those as they come about over the next couple months. But basically, the gist of it is we need more eggs. So we're gonna need a lot more eggs here on a routine basis. But we're starting to give away eggs for free to friends and that kind of stuff. So we're finding out that we really need a lot more eggs. So so that's why we have. I've lost track. I don't know, probably 10 full-size hens out in the coop, a few roosters, and then another 10 like teenage chicks or whatever, and then 10 here. So eventually we'll have 30 hens. When they start laying, for these guys, it's not going to be till October, which is terrible timing because in the wintertime they slow down. But I mean, we do the best we can. But when they all start laying, that means hopefully we'll get at least a couple dozen eggs a day ish, and then we'll end up being able to bring I bring them to work, friends take them, and then we've also had people start asking them if we sell our eggs, because if you haven't noticed, with everything going on in the world today, food prices are going up, and so are eggs, and we are completely oblivious to it, to be honest. And that's just because we haven't bought eggs at the store for, I don't even remember, like years. But I guess they've gone up significantly. When I went to the store, I looked at them a few days ago, and we are very surprised. So people are looking for a better way, and these are better for you than store-bought eggs anyways, because they holy cow, it's really windy here. They're organic, they're free range, so to speak, and so they're very. Their yolk is very similar. They're slightly bigger just because their whites are hard to describe, more clear, and they have just a slightly different taste than a chicken egg. You may not even notice, but if you bake a lot, duck eggs are really good for baking, and so that's where we end up getting our duck eggs weigh quite a bit. So, but we got other plans that we'll share on the channel here a little bit later. But yeah, we haven't stopped. We haven't bought meat in years, and we stopped and got some sausages in the morning. Yeah. Oh, it's insane. Meat prices are ridiculous. I can't even believe it. We don't eat a lot of steaks, for example. We're more of chicken. But we're like, you know what? We're gonna make steaks one of these, one night. And so the day before, we went to our local meat market. And I didn't know what to expect for prices, but I went in there and it was $23 a pound for a New York strip, and that is insane. That is ridiculous. So, yeah, I still think that we should get a cow here, or maybe get a couple, like a dairy cow and then a couple meat cows or something, and just butcher them. But my wife said no, so she couldn't handle looking at something that big in the eyes and then eating it on the plate. But I think that's a good idea. I also think we should do pigs, but I don't think we'd eat enough of it to make it worth it.
We just really want the bacon. The pork chops we probably wouldn't eat very much of. But the good news is the chicken. We kind of one of our big plans is, and what we've started doing is hatching out a selection of chicken eggs, to see if we get what kind of hens we get, but also if we get roosters, we're going to butcher them and save them for meat. So what we're going to start doing on these next ones that we do is we're instead of just saving the whole chicken, we're going to break it down into like chicken breasts, wings, thighs, and then the carcass will end up boiling and making our own chicken stock with. So, which will probably, I just thought that we could probably end up like, I wonder if you could freeze dry chicken stock and make like a powder so you could reconstitute it. I don't know. We'll have to try that. But that's kind of where we're at. Trying to be more self-sustainable in that, just because things are ridiculous. That's basically what we do. One of our whole big things here on the farm is attempting to be more and more self-sustainable over time. Just not that I guess we're kind of considered preppers now, but not that we're hardcore about it or think the world is ending, but I think it's just good practice and good longevity and preparedness to make sure you can take care of your family no matter what. I think that's just good practice. And whether that is a zombie apocalypse, nuclear war, or just food prices going up. So anywho, so that's the plan. So we will yeah, so I don't think that's too outrageous. I don't think we're that crazy yet, at least. But anywho, we're about done, almost done here. So we will post another. I'll post the announcement of the live video probably on Thursday and maybe Friday afternoon, maybe Saturday. We'll see. Probably Saturday afternoon. We'll do another live stream here and yeah. So I really appreciate you joining me, Hendrickson, and asking some questions, so I didn't have to just make stuff up this whole time. So, but thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching our live stream and all of our videos. We have a new video coming out on Friday too, this next Friday. That oh man, I still gotta edit. It's gonna be a lot of work. But we made some new garden boxes, and so all like the style of Todd from One Seed One World channel, his channel. So they're really cool. I actually just finished it like 2 hours ago, so make sure to check that out. And it should be really good. Something you guys could follow along with. Oh dang! Turn that light off. So anywho, yeah, thanks. I really appreciate the plug. So hopefully it's really good and you guys get something out of that. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. I'm going to go inside and probably work on some stuff for the weekend and chill with the family for a bit. So thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time. If you have any questions, put them below and I'll get back to you. See you guys.